I'm Teisha Bader with Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, March the 27th, 2013. While Jewish organizations here in the U.S. seem to be taking a supportive position on the recent apology issued by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Turkish Prime Minister Tayyip Erdogan over the 2010 Gaza flotilla incident, not everyone in the Israeli government agrees that the apology was the right thing to do. You may remember that in May of 2010, a fleet of ships led by anti-Israel activists set sail from Turkey and attempted to break the blockade of the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. When IDF commandos boarded one of the vessels called the Mavi Marmara in an attempt to stop it from breaking the blockade, they were surprised that the peace activists on board were in fact armed. Clashes ensued and 9 Turkish nationals were killed. Late last week, on the last day of President Obama's visit in Israel, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu had a phone conversation with Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan, where Netanyahu apologized for any error that could have led to the loss of life during the incident. The Prime Minister's move seems to indicate that restoration of diplomatic ties between Turkey and Israel is of such importance that the government decided to take this unusual step. As expected, former Israel Foreign Minister Avigdor Lieberman called the apology a serious mistake, saying it strengthens extremists in the area. But now Israel's new Minister of Economy and Trade, Naftali Bennett, is questioning the wisdom of Israel's apology, suggesting that Erdogan is doing everything to make Israel regret it. On his Facebook page, Bennett wrote that the Turkish Prime Minister is running a personal and vitriolic campaign at the expense of Israeli-Turkish relations. Bennett seems to be referring to comments Erdogan made over the weekend in which the Turkish Prime Minister said that it was still too soon to fully restore diplomatic ties with Israel and too early to drop the case against the IDF commandos who were involved in the incident. Erdogan also announced that he would soon visit Gaza, which seems to violate the spirit of the renewed Israeli-Turkish alliance. Bennett further wrote, "It must be clear to Erdogan that if Israel encounters any future terrorism, our response will be no less severe than it was in May 2010. And concluded by saying, "Let there be no doubt, no nation is doing Israel a favor by renewing ties." Police in France said they arrested 2 men who are suspected of being connected to the Toulouse attacks last year that left 7 people dead, among them 3 Jewish children and a rabbi. The 2 were arrested late last night, one in Les Ardes, a neighborhood of Toulouse, where gunman Mohamed Merah, who was responsible for the attacks, spent part of his childhood, and the other is reported to be a serving French soldier who was reportedly arrested at his barracks. French President François Hollande recently visited Toulouse on the first anniversary of the attacks and said that France is making efforts to improve its security intelligence gathering to prevent future terror attacks. Nobel laureate, author, and Holocaust survivor Elie Wiesel has been chosen to serve on the prize committee for the Genesis Prize, which is a new award to be given in recognition of Jewish achievement and contribution to humanity. Wiesel will join fellow committee members, among them Chief Rabbi of the United Hebrew Congregations of the Commonwealth, Lord Jonathan Sacks, and Chairman of the Jewish Agency for Israel, Natan Sharansky. The $1 million prize, dubbed the Jewish Nobel Prize by Time magazine, will be awarded to an accomplished, internationally renowned professional from anywhere in the world who is a role model in his or her community and who can inspire the younger generation of Jews worldwide. The first Genesis Prize will be awarded by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu next spring in Jerusalem. The Genesis Prize Foundation was established last year by the Genesis Philanthropy Group, the Office of the Prime Minister of Israel, and the Jewish Agency for Israel to strengthen the connection of the Jewish people around the world to the cultural and spiritual values that unite them. And finally today, Helen Kutcher, whose family has been behind the Catskills Resort Kutchers for more than 100 years, died at the age of 89. Kutcher, who came to be known as the matriarch of the Borscht Belt, died Saturday in Philadelphia. Her family still owns the resort, which is the last standing one of its kind in the Catskills, She is remembered as a warm and gracious host. She is survived by 3 children, 7 grandchildren, and 4 great-grandchildren. And that's Shalom TV's news update for Wednesday, March the 27th, 2013. I'm Teisha Bader.